I realized that, oh, God is speaking to me in this situation right now, and he's calling me as his own. And I thought I told you that I lost hope because I thought I don't deserve any of those kind of love to genuinely love me and understand me and accept me. But God's love spoke to me really, like, even in all my brokenness and failures and fears and all the wounds that I had, God understands what I'm going through. And Jesus also went through the suffering to save me from this ground, and that really spoke to me. And
Hey guys, the Jesus Magnet is now partnering with Witness Merch. They've even got a Jesus Magnet tab on their site with our merchandise. Let's check out their video.
At Witness Merch, we're more than just a store. We're part of your faith journey.
Our mission is simple: to provide affordable and accessible Christian merch so you can wear your faith proudly.
Not only do we have a range of trendy Christian merch and gifts, but we also offer customization to reflect your faith.
And above all, every purchase helps gift God's word to others, spreading the gospel message wherever you go.
Hey, welcome back to the Jesus Magnet. I'm your host Joel, and today we have Hayeon from Korea, which is cool. But you're living here in Thailand. And you're working alongside Create Labs. A big shout out to Keegan, who's actually one of the main reasons we're in Thailand. And I have been really trying to get him on the podcast, but he is a busy man. And every time I message him, he's off to America, or he's off to South Africa, or he's going back to New Zealand, or who knows. He's a hard guy to track down.
Yeah, recently he's been really busy, also like taking care of the DTS.
Yeah.
And other projects.
So you're doing a discipleship training school.
Yes.
With
YWAM. But it's for Create International.
So it's
people.
a little different.
A little bit different.
The average one.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. What's different about it?
It is not, first of all, it is not done in the YWAM base, but it is run by Create International. Usually, like DTSs, they're run by YWAM base, but we're running with like in our group, in our team.
How are you guys not a base? What's different?
So we usually when people do DTS, they live all together. Like they do chores together after lecture, and they cook together, and like they live together. But for us, we still gather in our normal studio where we used to work before. Right. And then so we do DTS in our studio, and after that we go back home. Like we can go back our own house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have, because normal YWAM DTSs, they have lectures every week. Do you guys do the same thing?
Yes, we do have lectures, but we have, we don't call it lectures, but we call stories, because our DTS is oral story DTS.
Okay.
Which is we learn Bibles like with stories, so through stories, and then we listen.
Can you give me an example of that?
So we listen to a story from Genesis, like now we are Acts. So it covers from stories from Genesis to the New Testament.
Okay.
And we listen to it, and we memorize, and we also learn with activity. Like sometimes we learn with skits. We learn with the visuals, like visual photos.
So what's the purpose of it in the end? Is it to be able to bring oral stories, nice and clear stories of Jonah and the whale and Genesis, the creation story, to people around the world? Is that the plan?
So, I mean, I didn't make the curriculum, so I might not have a best description or best knowledge about it. But as far as I know, it is also for the people who don't have a written language, so they can understand so who, especially for the unreached people groups, who use more oral culture, who are more used to the oral culture, they can hear the gospel not just like through reading or through the words, but they listen through the stories.
I see.
Yeah, and they share it with the stories. And also it is somehow contextualized too, or so they use not too difficult or too Christian words. They change words a little bit, even though it's almost the same. For example, like we don't say baptism, but they in the story they say ritual cleansing, something like that. So like people can
just
understand.
a bit more, because baptism is, like you said, it's Christianese.
Yes.
It's what does that even mean? Like, it's not an everyday word.
Yes.
But ritual cleaning is, more people can get what you're saying straight away.
Yeah.
And that's the goal, it's the communication of the gospel.
Yes.
More than the Christianese of the gospel.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So like it also trains us to be able to share the gospel in that way, like through the stories, because in this, like when we share the stories, sometimes it's more engaging. And we also ask some questions like, what do we learn about God? What do we learn about people? And what do we like about this story? Or what do we not like about this story? So it is not like only one person teaching about the Bible, but we kind of share together what we can learn from the passage or from the stories. So it's more engaging.
And can anyone do this? Or is it you've got to be within Create Labs originally? Because you guys aren't really a base, because that's how bases operate, right? They get people, they basically advertise for people to be discipled. And that's their thing. Is that Create Labs' thing? Do you guys regularly do discipleship training schools? Not really, eh?
So I think Create used to run many schools before and also DTS, but not nowadays. I think not like nowadays. Like it's been a while since we run DTS.
Yeah.
But this oral DTS is not specifically for Create, but it is one of the DTS curriculums that exists in YWAM.
Oh, I see. It's in different bases as well.
Yeah, I think so, because YWAM is really big and broad.
Yeah.
So
why did you guys decide to run a school just for you guys? Was there just a handful of staff that had not done a DTS?
It's like I am not a good again. This question is really like a bit. I think Keegan might be able to answer this better than me because.
Well, you're not sure why you guys randomly started to do a school.
I mean,
there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's great that you guys are doing it.
I mean, we had many people Create. Many some people join even like without taking DTS. Usually YWAM ministries, many people join after DTS.
Yeah,
right?
It's like a prerequisite to being a staff.
Yeah, but in Create we can see people who are like community staff, which is not fully YWAMers, but they still like work full time or work full time in Create.
Yeah.
And collaborate. So like. I was one of them, and there's other people, and also not only Create Labs, but this DTS is for entire Create teams.
Okay.
So, so there are people who wanted to take DTS and who needed to take DTS, but some people, this is like designed for the people who are in Create but who haven't done DTS. And because we had like people like Keegan had like, I don't know, we had people who needed to take DTS. So I think Keegan.
He sort of pushed to run a school for the staff members, the community staff members. I see. No, that's fine. I mean, a lot of staff in heaps of ministries have a prerequisite course that you've got to take.
Yeah.
And I know YWAM does. I've done YWAM. I've done a DTS back in New Zealand, and I can understand the heart behind wanting to get everybody on the same page with YWAM culture, why everybody thinks this way. It's good. So I can understand the importance of if you're running a YWAM Create Labs base or whatever. It's not really called a base, is it? But a ministry that you want, I guess, the heartbeat to all be the same. Yeah. Cool. So how did you end up getting interested in YWAM? Where does your story actually start? Have you always been a believer, or is this something that you stumbled across and God captured your heart?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you grow up in church?
Yeah. Actually, I was a PK, so pastor's kid.
Okay.
So my dad was pastor.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a church, in a Christian background. My parents were the first generation of being Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then your parents became pastors.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bold move. Clearly called.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's a long story to explain how I came to Thailand. But definitely there was a turning point in my life, I think. Because I grew up in a Christian family, but we also went through many hardships. It was not easy to live as a pastor's family.
Okay.
And there was a time where I not only just know God, like there was a time I got to really encounter, or how to say, personally experience God, like as a person in my life.
There was a time?
There was a time. There was a turning point in my life.
Okay.
Like, even though I grew up as a Christian,
Yeah.
like in a Christian family, there was a turning point that I can say, and that is also a long story, but
Yeah. Tell me about it.
all right. So yeah, actually my dad was sick when I was like 5 years old, like 4 years old, like that. He got liver cancer, and he kicked out of his church because he was not a head pastor. He was one of the pastor in a big church in Korea. But because he was sick, he was kicked out because they said, "Oh, I think you're almost dying, so we cannot."
So he was a
hire you."
pastor in a Sikh church?
Sikh church? What is Sikh church?
Because Sikh is a religion, right? Sikhism?
Sikhism?
Yeah, when you say he's Sikh, what does that mean?
He had illness.
Oh, he was sick.
He was sick.
Oh, sorry. I
No.
thought you said that he was Sikh. Like
Sikh?
Sikhism is they have like a turban, and I was very surprised by that being in Korea. And you're saying
No,
that,
no.
and I'm like,
I don't know
really?
even what that word means.
Oh, sorry, he was sick.
Yeah, sick.
Right.
Sick.
Sorry, the accent.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And the Kiwi accent doesn't help either.
Okay.
Right, sorry, my bad.
All
Oh, so
right.
he was sick. He was ill.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
ill. Yeah, I would say he was ill. He had a liver cancer. When I was like around 5 years old. So people thought he's gonna die very soon. But thankfully, God allowed him more days of life. So he was very healthy after that.
Was he healed?
Not fully,
Okay.
but there's still cancer inside. But his body got healthier.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's still alive now?
No.
Oh.
But like,
I'm sorry to hear that.
No.
That's hard.
but after like 5 years or so, we moved to different church. My dad served in a different church. They accepted us. And then we came out, and my dad started a new church. because he thought that was like
Yeah.
the vision, or that was his calling to start a new church. And but one day, like, he couldn't move his arm like anymore. Like his arm felt like numb somehow, and we didn't know what happened to him. And suddenly he collapsed, and then he passed away. And we like figured out, like, when he collapsed and lost his when he was out of conscious.
Yeah.
We figured out that his brain was already filled with the blood, so it was like bleeding inside. Yes.
Oh, wow.
So
how old were you when this happened?
I was like almost 10,
Wow.
10, between 11. It happened around my birthday, so it was like right between 10 and 11, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he collapsed in the church.
Yep.
And like everything kind of changed after that, my life, like in our life.
So at 10, like prior to that, that's horrible. Prior to your dad's passing, were you like pretty confident with your faith in God at that point, or was that something that you thought of much, being a pastor's kid?
I mean, I don't know if I had that much thought at the time.
Yeah.
But
It's just something your family did.
yeah, probably. But I think I still believed in God, and I was still confident in my faith. But it was a bit different after I really personally and deeply met God, I think. Yeah, but yeah.
How did your faith change, or your view of God change with your dad's passing, and such a sudden passing as well?
So there is actually a little bit more story to get there, I think, because so like after that, there were many, like, I mean, even before that, our life was full of many hard things. I cannot explain everything here, but after that, we moved abroad. Also, it's long story.
Where'd you go?
Story. We went to Austria.
Okay.
In Europe, and because of my brother was pursuing studying there. That's why my mom decided we had to close the church too, because there's no more pastor, and so we sent out all our people, and my mom suddenly decided to move to abroad too, because my mom thought my brother was too young.
How old was your brother?
He was around middle school / high school age, I think.
To go to Austria?
Yeah.
Middle school to high school. So was that like 15?
Maybe 16.
Okay.
16, 17 maybe. But my mom wanted to be with him.
It was pretty young. Pretty young to go to another country.
Yeah. And yeah. So.
Okay. So, yeah, what happened in Austria? How long were you there?
So we lived there for like 4 years, around 4 years. And I went to the local school there, and my mom was studying German there, because she was there with a student visa, language student visa. And that all like process, like wrapping up after my dad passed away, and wrap things up and cleaning things. Like, actually, my mom did the most hard things, I think.
Okay.
And going to abroad right after that.
Yeah.
At the time, we didn't really have time of grieving. I don't think like we didn't know well about our self-care or how to like go through that hard process. And we just jumped into different.
Why is that? Do you think that's a part of grieving of I kind of need to be focused on something? I've just lost my husband. Like your mum might be thinking, I've just lost my husband. I just need to be focused on something.
I don't know. It's just because my brother, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah.
But you said you guys didn't really grieve too much.
Oh, that doesn't mean like we didn't grieve much, but we didn't have time to kind of. So it was too sudden that we changed.
I see.
So like we didn't have. Now I think that we didn't have enough time of like kind of settle down and restore. And we just jump into different hard situation.
Right.
Yeah, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So how was your mum in the sense of losing her husband so suddenly? Did you see a strengthening of faith or a change in her faith with God? Or was it like, how did that change? 'Cause that's pretty traumatic, and
it's hard to say like in one word, because for us the reason like for me it takes a long time to explain because it was we had to go many things to experience another change, in our inside.
right.
Like it's not just like after my dad passed away, like I think what we faced was like a big trial, like like very humbling time, because for my mom, she had she studied studied in Korea for college and also seminary, but going abroad means like none of them will be acknowledged in that country.
Yeah.
And actually like even like the churches, like she could not do any ministry in Austria while she was in Austria. The door did not open, and also situation did not work out together.
Yeah.
So for her, it was she mostly prayed, and looked after us and study. When she was
But do you know how she was spiritually? Like, for example, my wife and I really struggled to have kids, right? So there was 5 years of trying to have kids. And I got very angry spiritually at God. I didn't lose faith, but it deepened my faith because I had to fast and run to the Lord because of my discouragement, because I was in pain, because we were unhappy. I ran to God. It strengthened my faith, the hardship and the trial. That's what I'm asking with your parents or your mom or you or your brother. In a trial like this, sometimes you can get angry or you can get sad, but did it draw you towards God for comfort, or were you trying to find a distraction to deal with the grief, or where were you guys as a family after such a traumatic event?
I think we were all in a different state.
Yeah.
But definitely it brought us more to a desperate place.
Yeah.
So my mom always gather us as one, and we pray together every day.
Cool. So you guys didn't lose faith or anything like that?
Yeah, we did not lose faith. It's hard to say. It's like the word is a bit tricky. We did not lose faith, of course, but we almost for me, I felt like I was on the ground. I feel like no one could understand me, or like I was very depressed. Yeah.
Okay.
And
how did that affect your prayer life at that age?
prayer life, like thanks to my mom, I could still come to like pray together, because my mom always brought us to the place of prayer, even in the church or in our family. We always kept daily prayer time. In the church, we always kept the place of worship.
Yeah.
That's my mom, never compromised. And but in many other aspects, like I cannot fully describe how my brother was or how my mother was.
Yeah, but what about you?
Yeah, but so I was very broken at the time, because it was also my first time being exposed to a foreign setting, and it was in Europe and very different. And I just lost my dad, and I was also like had many anxiousness at the time, I think. And just after what all happened, for me, it was very mentally wounded. And I didn't realize that at the time. And like some people also did not understand me at the time. And I really completely closed my heart.
Yeah.
To people. So I didn't spoke to people that I met, that I met there in Austria. So people misunderstood me. Oh, maybe she doesn't like me, or she's a weird person, or she's a scary person, something like that. And some people avoided me, or I avoided people, and I was very different person at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
what would be your advice for someone that's going through that? Since now that you've walked through that, and you're looking back on your life now, just for someone that might be listening, what would be your advice for them to help deal with that grief, to not feel underground, to be able to, would it be counseling or finding a mentor, somebody that, like a big brother or a big sister, somebody that's like that?
Yeah, of course, I would also recommend that. Like at the time, I didn't know that. At the time, I didn't get any help from like counseling or mentors or something like that. But
is there anything you can pinpoint that you would give advice to someone listening that's going through something similar now, like that?
Only thing I can share with them, and also the reason that I committed my life to share the gospel, would be like it's from that time, because I was very I was full of self-hatred and also depression and full of fear, and I thought I lost my hope completely.
Wow.
Because I thought I did not deserve anyone's like care and love, and I thought no one would do that. Like no one would love me like that. No one would like understand my brokenness and weaknesses in my heart, like not my wounds in my heart. But it was very slow change for me, and slow breakthrough for me. And after I experienced that breakthrough, I was surprised too. Oh, before I cried every day when I go to school, after coming back, or before going to school, I was so scared. Like I was so painful inside, like all the situations, or just I think I was stuck in myself too. But one thing that gave me breakthrough was when I started experiencing God's love.
How did that happen?
So I told you that my mom always brought us to the place of worship. The way God really spoke to me was through the Word, through
the Bible,
through the sermon. Before I grew up as a pastoral kid, but I never experienced that happen. Like that, what was like, that was like when I listen to a word, it is not like, I know that, I understand that. It was not like that. It was really that message spoke to me. It was really like, as God is speaking to me every week about certain things.
It's amazing how it can sound like that when you're in a sermon that somebody's preaching to you, or you're reading the Bible, and it's like, man, it's like this person has been watching me for the last 6 months. How do they know this about me?
Yes.
So many people, I hear this all the time. It's happened to myself as well, being in a service. And a friend of mine, he sometimes brings his dad to church, maybe once or twice a year, because his dad's not a believer. And his dad thinks that that his son tells the pastor things about him and brings him into the sermon, but he doesn't. It's just the conviction of the Holy Spirit. It's just the pastor doing what we've just experienced. You feel like he's talking directly to you, and it's really just the Holy Spirit working in us, resonating with that word, with that sermon. And it's weird how it's universal. It's around the whole world. It shows how the word is really living and active today. Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. So you were in this state of depression, understandably. You've just gone through huge loss, moved country, left all your friends and family, and you would feel quite alone. It's awesome how you started to feel comfort in the Holy Spirit, because that's what he's described as in the Bible as well, our comforter, someone that we can go to, our counselor. And it's cool to hear that you were going through, I mean, I can't even imagine what you were going through, losing a father. But how the Lord showed up as a father is such a neat part of your story. So tell me a little bit about when your heart started to soften and how it started to receive the Lord.
So that was when I started hearing the messages, like, even though I grew up in a Christian family, it never came to my heart. Like, I don't think it came like that time that Jesus loves me, and Jesus understands my pain, and Jesus also went through that pain, like went through all the pains and sufferings and all that, so I can be connected to Father, like God, like the Heavenly Father. And that is not just like the Bible story I know, or the belief I had, or the knowledge I have, but that felt so real. Like, that felt like God is really in my life, like in Austria at the time, and I realized that, oh, God is speaking to me in this situation right now, and he's calling me as his own. And I thought I told you that I lost hope because I thought I don't deserve any of those kind of love, to genuinely love me and understand me and accept me. But God's love spoke to me really, like, even in all my brokenness and failures, and fears and all the wounds that I had, like, God understands what I'm going through. And Jesus also went through the suffering to save me from this this ground, and that really spoke to me. And that every week, God's love and God's character, not only love, but I got to learn more about God and how just he is, and how perfect He is, and how and God encouraged me every single week, to also challenge my comfort zone. And I started talking to people slowly. I was more encouraged, not to fear anymore and not to be stuck in my thoughts anymore. God put me out of the box and gave me hope. Yeah, that was big, hope. I started having hope, even the situation was all the same. Nothing has changed. Still, I have to face my family's pain. That also hurt me. Not only me, but my family also suffered. That made me really hard. Of course, I also hurt my family too. But some people rejected my family. Some people misunderstood my family. That also hurt me a lot. But the situation was the same in school at the time. Now people know Korea. Oh, Korea, K-pop, K-culture. At the time, they didn't know Korea. There were more racism at the time, and some students, they kind of did make fun of me, and it was not fun going to school sometimes. And because I don't speak, they bullied me sometimes. Oh, Hayeon never speaks. I never speaks, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was very difficult, And I know that some people, I also have hurted people by not responding to them too. Now I understand, but at the same time, it was very difficult for me to deal with all the situation. So the situation was the same, but changes started inside me. God changed me, how I view the word. After I'm really encountered God, knowing God in person, not God is, I felt like God is really in my life.
How old were you when you started to feel God really start to change your heart? And you said hope started to come back. How old were you?
I think I was around 15, 16.
So there was about 5 years of darkness.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, for maybe 3 years.
Mm.
Yeah, and I was 12, 11 when I went to Austria. So, 2-3 years, I've been still struggling.
Yeah. Wow. So, did you think that there was changes in your personality after you started to, I guess, almost feel that hope again? Did the smile return? That sort of thing?
Yeah. So first thing was one day I was preparing for school, but I was so happy. Before it never happened, but I was I realized myself that I was preparing with joy, and that surprised me. Wow, I have joy in me. And then I had more confidence, so I started talking to people, making some friends, and communicating with people. And
so was there a single moment that changed, or was it a gradual? I'm just listening to the words of the Bible. I'm just,
It was very gradual. It was one by one. It's not everything completely changing. It's still difficult to change. It was still difficult to change. But first, my perspective changed. My heart changed. It started changing, and accordingly, my life also started changing too. Step by step. Oh, first of all, maybe this situation, maybe I can speak out more. In this situation, I can reach out to the person at least and say hi, and at least maybe I can ask more questions this time, or ask to hang out first, something like that, right? And share about God, and it was very little step that I could see change in my life.
Was there a person outside of your parent, like your mum or your brother, was there a person that was able to kind of help you focus on God and disciple you in small ways? or was it very much like just prayer, listening to sermons, and the Lord slowly healing this wound of loss?
I think that many people were involved in this because many people in the church, even though the church like has some misunderstanding with my mom sometimes, but there were people who still pray for us, and especially like pray for me because they knew that I was going through a hard time. I was young, but I was so dark. I was like, isolated
You
like
were
that.
the moody girl in the
moody
corner.
Girl. Yeah, so they knew it.
Yeah.
So some people like willingly take me out and then talk to me and pray for me.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate all that. So I don't think like there was like a one person who like guided me through all that, but everyone.
That's so good to hear, though.
Yeah, everyone like that was involved, and of course my mom always standing in that place. But I also fought a lot with my mom too, because my mom also struggled with me being like struggling in the situation, but she kept her place very, very faithfully. That really helped me.
How have you, like now that you look back on everything, this loss that, with your dad, losing him, do you look back now and struggle when you're with the Lord? Like, why, God, did you take him so early? Did those thoughts come to your mind? And you're more of a mature Christian now, so it's kind of like I don't think it would cause doubt or anything like that. But sometimes, I mean, they're healthy questions to have, I think.
I don't think like I do like that, like before. Before it was very difficult. Like it was very, very difficult. It's hard to explain. But now it's like it's part of my life. Like I don't necessarily erase it, or I don't necessarily like.
It's what has shaped you as a person.
Yes. So it's just part of my life. So, of course, sometimes it's still sad to like lose him, and sometimes I miss him in the big days, like in a really joyful day or in a really sad day. I still like feel like his absence sometimes. It's not like before. Like I'm used to life without him. But I also experienced like I got to believe that God, even though God allowed us this time and this thing, I believe that like through these, like I want to share about God to people who also going through the same thing. And through this time, I got to know God more closely, like more than I expect before. I never expect myself to be like that. And it's also not by my own like strength or anything, or my own striving or anything, but God really came to my life. Like I experienced that it is God who called me and who came to my life and who changed me and who called me to be his witness. So when we were like going to wrap up our life in Austria, like what we say was it was like a wilderness. It was like a wilderness, but for me it was also like a gift of God. So I have both like bitterness at the time, but and hardships at the time. It was very difficult life in Austria, but at the same time it was most precious time because I got to meet Jesus there. And that time I cannot fully express the joy that I had. I thought it was like my lifelong reason like to leave. Yeah, that's how I felt when I first experienced it. Yeah.
Wow. It's a heartbreaking story, yours, really. Experiencing that loss and then moving countries and things like that. How did you end up getting here to Thailand. So did you move back to Korea?
Yes.
And then now you're in Thailand.
So there's another long story, but so my brother stayed on living in Austria. He's still in Austria right now, but my mom decided to move back to Korea because she felt she has to continue on fulfilling her heart calling for God.
Okay.
So she came back to start ministry or serve in the church again.
Yeah.
And I came back with her. Yes, we went back to Korea again after 4 years, and I was around high school age at the time. And so I graduated high school in Korea, and it was my first time experiencing Korean education because I did my elementary as a homeschooling, and I never experienced Korean education before, official Korean education, and I could not.
How's it different? I haven't experienced it either.
I don't want to generalize, but for me, it was more like lecture style. Korean education was more lecture style, and it was highly focused on Korean SAT test. So Sunung, which is Sunung, so it's basically designed for taking Sunung.
Okay.
So it was a bit different for me.
Almost like university.
Yeah.
The bigger lecture halls.
No, I didn't mean that. It's more like, so there are many classes for the test, not really learning, but it felt more like, we're studying test.
Like memorizing.
Yeah, memorizing information.
Okay.
Yeah, if that
not understanding things.
Yeah,
that's true, and that is worldwide. An issue in the education system is cramming information into your brain temporarily so you can pass the test, and then you forget it. 2 weeks later, you're like, I can't even remember what I memorized. Yeah, does happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure Korean university has better education, but high school is especially focused on the test.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to go abroad again.
Yeah.
It's funny. But
you weren't scarred from the first time. That's interesting.
So that was actually my choice, but we had some. But it was realistically difficult to study abroad because it's expensive, and I don't have any other route to study abroad. But thankfully, the door opened for me. God really provided for me to study abroad. So I went to U.S. For my college. So I graduated my high school in Korea, and I studied in America for college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And throughout all the time after I experienced that turning point, I always thought, maybe I will be a writer, because I really liked to read book that time. And I wanted to be a writer, and somehow I didn't have a clear idea, but somehow I want to tell more about God, or I want to tell about Jesus. That was my dream. That I wanted to be a writer like that. But so I started my college with English major, which was so difficult for me because I never studied in English before. Even for native speakers, English majors is difficult, but for me it was so I ended up changing my major, but during my time in college, I got confirmation about I want to be more involved in sharing the gospel or serving for God.
Why were you heading that way in your mind, in your spirit? Was there like just a want to do that, or did you feel that the Lord was telling you to do that?
So, so there many situations happened. So there was a speaker come and spoke to us, and that spoke to me, and I was just trying, but I was somehow got involved with Bible translation program in my school, and which is kind of like we don't really translate the Bible, but it's more like we learn more about missions. So it's more about developing soft skills. And so I somehow got to know more about missions, and I added missions minor. And
cool.
Yeah, I was more interested as like the more I learn about missions word, and they also invited in the missions Bible translation cohort, they invited missionaries once a month. So they got to speak to us every month. And that was also very encouraging. And and there was a time where we had to do an internship at least one time for my missions minor and also Bible translation cohort, and also for my major, which was communication arts. I studied communication arts, which is media and communication. So I somehow wanted to combine all of it and do internship together.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's how I first came to Thailand.
Okay. So was Thailand one of the many countries that you were considering?
Actually not. I didn't know anything about like the countries that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And I never thought about Thailand, of course.
Yeah.
But so it was so unexpected.
So how did you land on Thailand?
So I told you that I studied communication arts, which is more media, and I was interested in learning more about film, and I was also interested in joining missions work. So one of the cohort, like Bible translation cohort meeting, they invited one of the leaders of Create International, but he was from different Create team called Create Mobile.
Oh, yeah.
And he was an alumni of my school. So he came to speak to us one time, and I heard his project, and that team is more involved in filmmaking. Among Create teams, they're more involved in filmmaking. So they had training. It was not really internship program, but it was more like training program. Like they teach and film together and for unreached people groups. So after I heard that, I was very interested.
That's quite a cool ministry, isn't it? Because they film things in the culture, like how people, they don't Hollywoodize it. They make it adaptable to the culture that they're trying to reach.
Yes.
I think that's brilliant. It's a brilliant way to get the gospel to cultures, because they're probably like The Passion of the Christ, amazing film. But you're probably never going to get India watching that. You know, you need something that's going to reach the Indian people.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, that's cool. So did you go work with Create Mobile, or that's just how you heard about Create?
So that's how I first got connected to Create, because the time I tried to join their training session, their training seminar, which was supposed to happen in Zimbabwe and Malawi in Africa.
Wow.
But at the time, there was a civil conflict. So it kind of got delayed. And the leader said, "I'm so sorry. I wish I could confirm that it will happen. But actually, it might not happen." And I waited for like a few months, but I still couldn't hear answer from them. But I think at the time I was very desperate. I really wanted to try, because I definitely thought that, oh, God is guiding me toward this path, but I don't see any like clear path that I can learn about missions or like experience missions. So I really want to try this one.
Right.
So I wrote a message to create international page again. And so I reached out to them. And interestingly, Keegan reached out to me because I think Keegan was in charge of the communication through the website. So Keegan, I don't think Keegan really know about the situation between mobile team and me.
Yeah.
And so, and that's how I first got to talk to Keegan. Yeah, and then after we understood our situation and like that, but a funny thing is, Labs team at the time, they also did not accept any interns because it was only you and Keegan at the time. And Keegan said, I don't think you are matching for our team because our team doesn't usually accept interns or doesn't plan to grow more or so they have their own like purpose and role in create. So they didn't want to like accept interns at the time. But as we talk, he and pray, like he were more open to bring me there. And I was also like still waiting for the mobile team like at the time to take the seminar. But as I pray more, I feel like God is more opening doors to us here because it's opening so smoothly. Everything is like without any hindrance. It's opening. But I was also afraid because Keegan asked me to be flexible because the work can be changing, the task can change, and so like the role can change. So he asked me to be flexible. That's all he wanted. He like wanted me to have, and I was okay with it because I wasn't also sure what God has for us, and so I wanted to be open and I wanted to just experience where God leads me. So like without knowing what will happen, I decided to go to Thailand for 3 months. And that was how first I came to Thailand 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
And that kind of like...
Have you heard how we managed to get in touch with Keegan?
No.
So we emailed, it might have been Create International as well, something like that. We thought it was just YWAM Thailand. And I think it was Create International. And I get an email back months later. It took a while, but it was Keegan. And Keegan, I'm in this city called Wellington in New Zealand. And I'm only there for 2 days. And Keegan emails back and he says, hey, Joel, love the idea of the Jesus Magnet podcast and what you're doing. Maybe we could work together in Thailand, but I'm not in Thailand. I'm actually visiting family in New Zealand. And I didn't even mention I was a New Zealander. And I said, where are you in New Zealand? And he goes, I'm in Wellington. He was in the same city as me. He was 20 minutes drive. I email Thailand and I get someone 20 minutes drive from me. And so I met him like the next day from emailing Thailand. That was a God moment. And how often, that would be like me emailing some, I don't know, German missions organization thinking about going there. And the guy messages you back and goes, oh, I'm just down the road. Let's talk. It was crazy. But this is the thing, that happened twice. We emailed Thailand 3 months earlier and we're passing through Wellington. And it happened again. A different person said, oh, yeah, we could probably work with the Jesus Magnet in Thailand, but I'm currently in New Zealand visiting family. Can we talk about this later? And they were 20 minutes drive from us again. It was just, and the crazy part about that story is the first time it happened, we were praying if this was confirmation to go to Thailand with Laura and myself. And then Laura says, God, if you want us to do it again. Do that miracle again. And then Keegan emails and he's down the road again. So that's actually why we're in Thailand, is because Keegan answered his emails and came and talked to us, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, wow.
So let's get back to your story with coming here, how long was it from emailing back and forth with Create Labs that you actually decided to come here?
So we had a video call like 3 times, and after that, I think we decided to like do internship.
Cool.
So I was the first intern there,
Wow.
going there, and yeah, so it was good time. Like I stayed in Thailand for 3 months and really enjoyed time with Create Labs team, and also like outside Labs team, I also got to meet some other missionary friends, and I really enjoyed that time. Like not just having fun. I didn't just have fun, but got to experience how God works through these people in Thailand, and it felt like God put me out of another box to see.
Wow.
Even you can be also part of like my work, and there was more like confirmation of God opening a way for me.
It's nice having your work being so purpose-filled. Like it's drawing people to the gospel, it's drawing people to God. It's quite fulfilling in that.
Yes.
So that was 2 years ago, did you
Yes.
say? Wow. So you're here for 3 months and then you went back to Korea?
No, I went back to the States to graduate.
Yep.
So, and after that, I decided to join here full time. Yeah. Decided to join full time.
So how long was that?
So 1 year. So
1 year back in the States and then
Yes.
back here.
Yes.
Wow. Awesome. So you've been here a year.
Yeah.
Awesome. Wow. That's fantastic. Now, where do you see yourself like in 2026? Do you see yourself still in Thailand, still working with Create Labs, or is God moving you somewhere else?
I can see myself still in labs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, I'm open for God's guidance. And I've been praying during DTS as well. But I believe that like God called me here in this season. So I want to like do my best and also do it with joy. Sometimes it's not easy to do it all with joy, but I'm learning that. So I'm grateful that God has called me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you have any advice for anyone that's looking at going abroad and they want to get into some sort of missions, but they're not really sure? How do I know it's you, God? What would be your advice on them looking at all the missions that they could do? Because Create Labs is very unique. You know, you're working in the film industry. You guys are doing all creative missions. If I'm somebody that's a young 18, 20-year-old, just finished high school, and I want to go into missions, what's one way that I can feel that God's in it with choosing all the different missions?
That's a difficult question. You and me, I struggle with that question. But for me,
You kind of said it earlier, I reckon. You said the doors naturally opened for this one.
yes, the doors naturally open also. And Keegan once told me about this, like, because I worried about what about I'm not fully prepared versus calling, like but I think most important thing is getting confirmation about the calling. Like it is really, there are so many things we can do and try in this word, but not everything is what I'm called to do. You know, like, so like really having that time of confirmation about God's calling. Like it doesn't have to be specific, work. I don't think so, because work can change all the time, and even countries can change sometimes. But like, really, God called me to fully like submit, like fully serve Him, like full time, or it could be in a different occupation too. But just about like missions, or they could be different things, but really about the calling. And
that's good.
And have open heart, open gesture. I think sometimes it's needed, open-minded.
Yeah.
Because sometimes things will happen in unexpected ways. So be flexible and make room to God to lead you.
Yeah, and be patient too.
Be patient.
When we heard the Lord say go to Thailand, it wasn't for about 2.5 to 3 years later that we were able to go. Took ages to get here. And even after meeting Keegan, I think it was 2 years later. So it was a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes God just asks you to be patient. The promised land is there, but it's a little while away. Yeah. Man, is there anything you would like to share before we wrap up?
I don't think so.
You good?
Yes.
If somebody wants to partner with you prayerfully, financially, or just ask you some questions, is there a way for them to do that? We can.
Sure. I have a WhatsApp. I have Instagram too, and Facebook as well. I don't use them very often.
But are you funded by support?
Yes.
By being here? Is there a way for our listeners to support you if they're feeling called to?
They can support through YOM portal. There's a YOM portal that they can support me.
Could you send me the link for that, and I'll put it in the description?
Sure.
Nice and easy for our listeners to find.
Sure.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, Hayeon, for joining us.
Yes,
You've got a great story, and I think many people needed to hear that. Going through loss like that with your father, and then going to a different country, feeling isolated and alone, and how you came out of that through hearing the Lord's voice and His word and His sermons, I think is a real testament to what do I do when I'm in trials like this. And there's a lot of loss out there. I have not lost a parent, but I know many people that have, and I sometimes don't know what to say to them. But now, the fact that you've shared your testimony, I can now send them this episode of somebody that's gone into the dark pit of feeling loss and grief and depression and not knowing which way is up. I like how you said you felt underground. And just how do you surface again? How do you get out of that? And your answer was Jesus. Jesus every time. And it wasn't a light switch moment, didn't change straight away, but this gradual following of the Lord was what brought you out and into purpose and direction and love and hope. So thank you for coming on the show and sharing all that. It's really powerful.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah, no, it's great to have you. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Jesus Magnet, and we'll see you next time.